Hi, my name is Ryan Lane, and welcome to my review channel. So for today's movie, I will be reviewing Halloween Ends, directed by David Gordon Green and starring Jamie Lee Curtis. So, this film takes place 4 years after the events of Halloween Ends. So, you know, when we meet our main characters, things are going better. Like, Laurie Strode, played once again by Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, she has kind of turned her life around. She has stopped drinking, she's now writing a book, which kind of serves as lazy exposition for the movie, and her granddaughter is now a nurse. Things are, you know, I mean, they're going better, you know, I mean, like her, Laurie's personality is now no longer PTSD-addled, or at least not as much as, you know, the, you know, previous movies, but, you know, she's doing better. However, someone who's not doing better is a character by the name of Corey, played by Rohan Campbell. This character was involved in a tragic event involving the death of a kid he was babysitting 3 years prior to the events of this movie, and because of it, he has been ostracized by the overall Haddonfield community. So through a series of events, he ends up befriending the Strodes and getting involved with Allison, played by Andi Matichak, Laurie Strode's granddaughter. And so what follows is a relationship that is doomed to end in tragedy. So let's start off with the positive, shall we? For starters, this film is kind of better than Halloween Ends. It doesn't feature characters who make the exact opposite decision of what they should be making in order to survive an attack by Michael Myers. So there's that. The film also doesn't have narrative slack due to the fact that it wants to focus on a bunch of, you know, characters no one cares about. Plus the comedy, while the film doesn't try its hand at comedy too much, it seems to have settled just entirely on a straightforward horror approach. You know, there's no more cringeworthy comedy a la Big John and Little John holding up ironic knives and saying, I have a big knife, I have a small knife. There's none of that. So again, that's an improvement. Also, the film actually feels like a, for lack of a better term, a movie rather than just a series of loosely connected horror set pieces where Mike Myers kills people. The film, you can feel the effort by the screenwriters to actually tell a story in this film. So I give it props for that. Plus the film has an actual ending instead of that cheap, oh, you thought you were getting a whole movie? Well, you're going to have to see the sequel then. So yeah, the film has an actual ending. I won't say anything more beyond that with regards to that. However, beyond that, the film kind of still suffers from the same issues as the previous film. For starters, the film is still weirdly obsessed with trying to plumb, you know, the reasons behind evil and whether it's a nature versus nurture type issue. It's like, really? It's, you know, you're not good at it, movie. Like, you weren't good at it in Halloween Kills, and you're not good at it in this film either. It's like, with regards to the Corey character and whether or not, you know, he is a good person who just got a bad break, or if he was a bad person to begin with, it's like, really? It just doesn't do it well. Partly because the Corey character is so inconsistently written. Like, you know, in some scenes he'll be all forlorn and feel sad about the event, but other times he'll just, you know, be, you know, super intense and be like, I will mess you up, man. It's like, really? The film never manages to find a nexus and merge these two dark halves, the light half and dark half, into one consistent whole. And also, it's like, remember how I said earlier that Corey strikes up a relationship with Allison? Well, he strikes up a relationship very quickly. Like, the two characters, Allison and Corey, they go from the dynamics of a meet cute to the dynamics of a relationship very quickly. Like, no sooner than is Corey meeting Allison at a hospital than is like a day later max that, you know, he's at a costume party and they have a big fight, you know, that seems like they've been in a relationship for, you know, weeks, maybe even a month or so. But in the film, it's like they've barely known each other for a few days. Also, another side effect, you know, from the previous movie that has unfortunately carried over is the characters themselves. While the secondary characters aren't given the main focus in this film, they are still two-dimensional, underdeveloped, and they suffer from asshole syndrome. Like, every character, you know, aside from, like, you know, the primary ones, are just so unlikable and annoying. It's like, really? It's just... Yeah. And so that sort of parlays into the next issue where the characters, because the characters are so two-dimensional and unlikable, it kind of makes it hard to care during the horror set pieces. Like, whenever, you know, Myers is going about doing what he does best, killing people, I wasn't terrified. Like, you know, all these characters, like, I had no reason to care about them. And so whenever Myers popped up, I was like, oh, good, you can get rid of these characters from the movie. Great. Plus, I mean, just the set pieces overall on a technical level, they aren't directed such that, you know, they evoke tension. Like, there's no tension, and therefore there's no scares. You know, it's like the characters go about, you know, talking dialogue and being so happy, you know, to be alive. Okay, granted, they don't do that, but that's essentially what they do. And then, you know, a character will say, like, call out another character's name, like, hey, you know, not dead person, are you still not dead? You know, and then, you know, they'll round the corner just to see that the fact that said character is in fact dead. And so it really just robs the set pieces of any tension. So, yeah. Plus, the biggest issue of all regarding the character writing is the fact that Laurie Strode is now inexplicably blamed for Mike Myers' kill streak through Haddonfield. It's like, you know, like at one point, you know, when Laurie Strode is shopping outside a grocery store, like one character comes up and confronts you saying, hey, because of you teased Mike Myers and teased him out, you know, my mother, you know, suffered the price for it. It's like, what? You're blaming her? And I think the film's trying to pass it off as commentary, but it just comes off as lazy writing. So, yeah, with all that in mind, I mean, if you are a Halloween completionist and want to see the final battle between the residents of Haddonfield and Michael Myers, you know, sure, go ahead, see this film. There are worser Halloween films to see. But if you're a person who's looking for a good horror film experience, I'd take a hard pass on this film. Like, go see Smile or Barbarian, or almost, well, maybe not almost every other horror film, but point is, there are other horror films to see other than Halloween Kills. So with all that in mind, I will be giving Halloween Ends 2 out of 5 stars. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. If you like this review and would like to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. And for today's comment section prompt of the day, what's your favorite Halloween movie and why is it your favorite Halloween movie?